I have dissociated myself from my assigned race, and it has left me confused in the context of topics that should be very clear to me, one supposes. I will now read a poem that should fill up much of the time slot that I have been allotted. Its title, Your Velvet Abode. One day I had an epiphany about all of those who have been oppressed by this country's fallen ways. By eyes turning the other way, by those who feel entitled to have our messes cleaned up by lesser peoples, and by my own misguided tendency to see myself as different from how others may see me, and as different from how I may even see those who resemble me most in the mirror. Your velvet abode. That child you besmirch with derision and generalization. Expectation of child's fate before child has sealed it. And surely so many have sought to be strong, and surely so many have not fought enough. And surely so many have fought harder than life could give them the same heart beyond this lifelong swan song of brother, sister, lover, friend, dearly departed. You did good. Because of you? Why, yes. Because you assumed. You assumed. We assume too much of one another. And yes, we must go with the knowledge we're allotted, but it can wear on the other. Some of you have heard of microaggressions, I'm sure. They are inevitable, but they can also easily turn macro. You called them names. Benign, I suppose, till they snowball to mountains of resentment and shame. Your boyfriends threw the punches, slit the wrists, played with guns, and before they could win, death would crawl beneath their bones, goading that this is life, so live it, for it is good. Do not go gently into me. There's a place for you to build after you're 18. And when you ascended, as the cocoon they trapped you in mandated, someone would swat that bug who came into your velvet abode. Your velvet abode. The velvet abode is a dwelling, a large one in which one is welcomed, one is cared for, tired, poor, but never quite considered owner. It is the expectation of becoming fit one day for said abode, through a perpetual wait, a perpetual work, a perpetual struggle, a perpetual escape. A bug to swat, a bug born to be brave without any choice, and evermore trapped in a world she does not own. But I've always been different, you see. I will always be. And I have so many white allies, etc., etc. I begin to see myself in them and them in me, more than I see my own skin in me. And I am accepted well beyond the rainbow passage. I am accepted beyond the blackened poplar trees, and love for long was just the birds and the bees, very simple, impurities to garnish your velvet abode. The rainbow passage. This is a text used by trans women to read in hopes to accomplish a new vocal pattern that by their standard better fits them. And in short, I am the only person like me. It's all expressed here so very cryptically in such a way that it almost mirrors my own encryption. And these impurities are just another addition to the population. My diversity is just another color to know. Thankful for it I was, and I was good to speak. But life would shuffle me through problems of my own, and some, beyond demographics, incapacitated my vision and my cause for belief. And so I thought the red roses were just thorny breeds, just the way they were, gallantly planted pastoral seeds, dreams to garnish your velvet abode. Every red rose, every beautiful swan of the land, so perfectly imperfect. Perhaps this is a harsh accusation of charge, but things are dark in this contest, so why not? These golden children of America, you know, everyone was these. Simple, innocent. I was a sort of naive, but you know, you live, you learn. That ties in again. Things to garnish your velvet abode, your melting pot, our all-American soup. I've had problems distinctly my own, not tied to intersectional relations, and I've had concerns that have been tied to them as a Nigerian-American queer transgender woman. And I was naive, optimistically, and maybe I still am. But you gotta hope, right? And I always ask, why am I always last? Why do I think I can thrive before I've even worked to survive? Why do others protect me before my own 2 feet? My own 2 hands? And I know I've fought, and I know I've been lazy. And I know I've fallen in love with weeds. I know I've fought to save the trees. And often I plead, what's the matter with you? Man in the mirror. And it breaks my heart. The child in me, crumbling like the morsel of a biscuit, trembling Brent is waiting in the distance, whispering a name under which were I born again, maybe I'd have been. Life could have been simpler, like so many of you. So many of you I'd rather be. And it breaks my heart. If I ever loved anybody fully, always 1 foot on the ground, I find myself protecting myself, truly through the guise of vulnerability expressed eloquently and with charm. That way, maybe they'll love me too. Love saves us all, so they say. But can I save myself then? In a world where I cannot find myself beyond myself. Perhaps I have to settle. Perhaps I have to stay coddled. Perhaps I have to live with the cards and name I've been given. The culture of the man rotting beyond blue-eyed sin, beyond the forgiven souls of them who in candor, in passing, in collective sleep, left half the world, boys and girls, beholden to the home and the rush of his hand, and classified to the projects with powdered sugar as deceit, held down and thrown to the prison cell of boats that deport them to whence they came before they worked for you, building businesses and sweeping floors in perfect English that was never enough. Everyone was a woman to you, and few were ever anywhere near as pure. And you assumed her that much purer than you, that less worldly, free of desire. Most, their color would turn to ash, impurities of a primitive abode. This one is more clear, at least somewhat. Everyone other than that image of Western ideal, they were second, third, and last. Runoff of this remains to this day. And it's hard to tell what we do with it. I mean, sure, things have gotten better, but we still find division. And we still find in the projects in the lesser districts of Asbury Park, in rundown cities, a difference of fortune. What do we do? And you led me to believe that I was just like you, even as everything queer all I am. And so it goes. Welcome home. Your sorrowful seeds that plant new trees amid the pastures that recall so well that you were not kind. From time to time, impurities of a primitive abode. And of course, usually you were not the villain. Often, you were and are a force for good. I really do mean and believe that. Do not compare the child in me to the worker I was meant to be. Do not compare a child to a worker. For as he walks, as he stumbles, as she frolics, as she weeps, and vice versa, your gavel, in attempt to change, it brings them only shame. Your judgment is a pariah to them. And I wish for you not to turn them weak. I wish for you not to bury their joy just to serve their soil. And if your freedom is gone, then learn again to be free. And I thank you for the skyscrapers. And I thank you for the dreams. And a part of me is addicted to defending you. A part of me is addicted to defending the cisgender, heterosexual, white male effigy that symbolizes and bookends the capitalistic culture at large. I am none of this, yet I want entry. And oftentimes I get it. I get entry. I'm gotten. My parents are doctors. They are not poor. I come from wealth. And likely has clouded and guarded me and gotten me into trouble, internal trouble. I am learning every day. Not everyone is as kind as the friends I